Captain Lee Mina stood on the bridge of the ESS Horizon and watched the alien world grow larger on the main screen. The planet was beautiful. Blue oceans covered most of its surface. Green continents stretched between the waters. White clouds drifted across the sky like cotton balls. "Captain, we are picking up mineral readings from the surface," said Kim Day from his station. He was her first officer and had served with her for 5 years. "The scanners show rare metals we have never seen before." "How rare are we talking?" "About?" Mina asked. She walked closer to his station and looked at the data on his screen. "Very rare, Captain. These metals could power our ships for decades. They could help us build better weapons to defend Earth. This could change everything for humanity." Mina nodded slowly. The Horizon was humanity's first deep spaceship. They had traveled farther from Earth than any human before them. For 6 months, they had searched for new worlds and resources. This was their first real discovery. "Park Yuna, what do you think?" Mina called to her chief engineer. Park Yuna looked up from her console. She was young but very smart. "The readings are amazing, Captain. If we can mine these metals, we could build 100 ships like the Horizon." "Good. Begin scanning for a safe landing site. We will send down a survey team tomorrow." But before anyone could respond, the ship's alarms started ringing. The red warning lights flashed across the bridge. All the officers turned to their stations. "Captain, we have ships approaching," said Ensign Choi Hwan from the sensor station. He was the youngest member of the crew at only 22 years old. 5 large vessels coming from the other side of the planet. "On screen," Mina ordered. The main screen changed. Instead of the beautiful planet, they now saw 5 massive ships moving toward them. The ships were dark gray and covered with weapons. They were much larger than the Horizon. Each one looked like it could destroy Mina's ship with ease. "They are not human ships," Kim Day said quietly. "No, they are not," Mina agreed. "Are they trying to contact us?" "Yes, Captain, we are receiving a transmission." "Put it through." The screen flickered. Then an alien face appeared. The creature had dark purple skin and yellow eyes. Its head was larger than a human head. Sharp teeth filled its mouth when it spoke. "I am Commander Vex Tal of the Valthek Empire," the alien said. Its voice was deep and rough. "You have entered our territory without permission. State your business here." Mina stepped forward. She kept her voice calm and steady. "I am Captain Lee Mina of the Earthship Horizon. We are explorers from the planet Earth. We did not know this system belonged to anyone. We mean no harm." The alien's yellow eyes studied her for a long moment. "Earth. We have not heard of this." "World. How many ships does your species have?" "We are peaceful explorers," Mina replied. She did not answer the question about Earth's defenses. "All species say they are peaceful," Vexatal said, with what might have been a smile. "But peace means nothing. Only strength matters. The Valthek Empire has conquered 47 worlds. We have made slaves of 63 different species. Your Earth will be next." "That will not happen," Mina said firmly. "Oh, but it will. You will give us the location of your homeworld. Then you will surrender to us. This is how it always happens." "You are wrong. Humans do not surrender." Vextal laughed. It was not a pleasant sound. "Every species thinks they are special. The Zelani thought they were too proud to kneel. They knelt. The Korath thought they were too strong to break. They broke. You will be no different." The transmission ended. The screen showed the 5 Valtech ships again. They were moving closer. "Captain, what are your orders?" Kim Day asked. Mina looked around the bridge at her crew. These 12 people had followed her across the galaxy. They trusted her to keep them safe, but she also had a bigger responsibility. She had to protect Earth and all of humanity. "Can we outrun them?" she asked. "No, Captain," Park Yuna replied. "Their ships are faster than ours." "Can we fight them?" "We have weapons, but they outnumber us 5 to 1. And their ships are much bigger." Mina closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, she had made her decision. "Send an emergency transmission to Earth Command. Tell them about the Valthek Empire. Tell them these aliens plan to invade our homeworld. Include all our sensor data about their ships and weapons." Sending now, Captain, Choi Huan said. Good. Now I want you all to listen carefully. Mina's voice became very serious. When I joined the Earth Defense Corps, I took a sacred vow. I promised that no human would ever betray our species, no matter what happened to them, no matter what the enemy did to them. That vow is more important than my life. She looked at each officer on the bridge. The Valtech will try to make us tell them where Earth is. They will torture us, they will threaten us, they will try to break our spirits, but we cannot let them win. Earth must be protected. We understand, Captain, Kim Dae said. The others nodded. Remember this, Mina continued. We are human. That means something. It means we choose to do what is right even when it is hard. It means we protect those who cannot protect themselves. It means we never give up hope. The ship shook as the Valtech weapons hit their shields. Shields down to 60%, Park Yuna reported. Return fire, Mina ordered. Give them everything. We have. The Horizon's weapons fired at the nearest Valtech ship, but their shots barely scratched the alien vessel's armor. The enemy ships surrounded them. More weapons fire struck the Horizon. The lights flickered on the bridge. Shields failing, Park Yuna called out. Hull breach on deck 3, someone shouted. Mina knew they could not win this fight, but they had bought Earth some time. The warning message was already traveling through space toward their homeworld. This is Commander Vexital. The alien's voice came through the speakers. Surrender now, or we will destroy your ship. Mina activated the ship's communication system. This is Captain Lee Mina. We will never surrender. We will never tell you where Earth is. You can break our bodies, but you cannot break our vow. Then you will die slowly, Vexital replied. Maybe. But our souls are made of carbon forged in the hearts of stars. We will outlive your empire. The Valtech ships fired again. This time, their weapons were set to disable, not destroy. They wanted prisoners to interrogate. The Horizon's engines died. The lights went out. Emergency power kicked in, casting everything in red light. Prepare for boarding, Mina told her crew. Remember your oath. Remember Earth. Remember that we are human. The alien ships moved closer. Soon, the real test would begin. The Valtech prison ship was cold and dark. Captain Lee Mina sat in her cell with her hands chained to the wall. The metal was rough against her skin. She could hear her crew members in the cells around her. Some were crying softly. Others were trying to stay strong. It had been 3 days since their capture. The Valtech soldiers had beaten them during the boarding. Kim Dae had a broken arm. Park Yuna had cuts on her face. Young Choi Huan looked scared but tried to hide it. Heavy footsteps echoed in the hallway. The cell door opened with a loud clang. 2 Valtech guards entered. They were even bigger than the ones Mina had seen before. Their purple skin was covered with scars. The Supreme Commander wants to see you, one guard said in broken human language. They unlocked her chains and dragged her from the cell. Mina's legs were weak from sitting for so long. The guards pulled her through dark corridors filled with the smell of fear and pain. The interrogation room was bright white. It hurt her eyes after the darkness. A large Valtech sat behind a metal table. His uniform was covered with medals and symbols. His yellow eyes stared at Mina with cold intelligence. I am Supreme Commander Thexival, he said. His voice was smoother than the other Valtech she had heard. You are Captain Lee Mina of the primitive species called humans. That is correct, Mina replied. She tried to stand straight despite her weakness. Good. We will have many conversations. You and I. I have broken the leaders of 47 worlds. Some took days, some took months, but they all broke in the end. Thexival stood up. He was nearly 3 meters tall. Tell me the location of your homeworld called Earth. No. I have not even begun to hurt you yet. Are you sure that is your answer? Yes. Thexival nodded to his guards. One of them hit Mina in the stomach. She fell to her knees, gasping for air. The pain was sharp and hot. That was nothing, Thexival said calmly. Tell me about Earth's defenses. How many ships do you have? How many soldiers? I will not tell you anything, Mina said between painful breaths. Then we will start with something easier. What is your real name? You already know my name. Your full name. Your family name. The names of your parents. Mina looked up at him. Why do you want to know? Because when I find Earth, I will hunt down everyone you ever loved. I will make them pay for your stubbornness. My name is Lee Mina. That is all you need to know. The beating continued for an hour. Then they dragged her back to her cell. She could barely walk. Blood ran from her nose and mouth. But she had not told them anything. Kim Day was waiting in the cell across from hers. Captain, are you all right? I am fine, Mina lied. Remember your oath, Kim. Remember why we are here. I remember, Captain. The next day they took Kim Day. He was gone for 2 hours. When they brought him back, his other arm was broken too. But he looked at Mina and nodded. He had not broken either. On the 3rd day they took Park Yuna. She screamed during her interrogation. The sound echoed through the prison. When she returned, she was unconscious. Mina watched the young woman's chest rise and fall. She was still breathing. Yuna, Mina whispered. Can you hear me? Park Yuna opened her eyes slowly. I did not tell them anything, Captain. I gave them false numbers about our ships. Wrong information about our weapons. You did well, Mina said. They said they will execute one of us tomorrow. They said it. Will make the rest of us talk. Mina closed her eyes. She had known this moment would come. Who are they going to kill? The youngest. They said fear makes people weak. Choi Hwan. The boy was barely out of the academy. He had joined the mission because he wanted to see the stars. Now he would never see Earth again. That night Mina could not sleep. She listened to her crew breathing in their cells. Tomorrow, one of them would die. The Valthek thought this would break her spirit. They were wrong. In the morning the guards came for Choi Hwan. The young man was shaking, but he walked with his head up. As they passed Mina's cell, he looked at her. Captain, he said quietly, it has been an honor to serve with you. The honor was mine, Ensign, Mina replied. They took him to the center of the prison block. Other alien prisoners were forced to watch. Mina and her crew were dragged from their cells and made to stand in a line. Supreme Commander Thexval was there. He held a weapon that looked like a long knife. This is what happens to those who resist the Valthek Empire, he announced loudly. Any last words, boy? He asked Choi Hwan. The young man looked at his captain. Then he spoke in a clear voice. I am human. My soul is carbon forged in the hearts of stars. It will outlive your empire. Thexval's blade fell. Choi Hwan died instantly. The other prisoners gasped. Some of the alien species began to whisper among themselves. They had never heard a prisoner speak such words before dying. Now, Thexval said, turning to Mina. Will you tell me what I want to know? Mina looked at the body of her young officer. Choi Hwan had died with honor. He had shown these aliens what it meant to be human. My answer is the same, she said. I will tell you nothing. Thexval's yellow eyes blazed with anger. Very well. Tomorrow we reach my fortress world. There, I have tools that will make today seem pleasant. I will break you, human. I always break them. You can try, Mina said. But you do not understand what you are fighting. You think we are just another weak species. You are wrong. We are human. We choose hope over fear. We choose love over hate. We choose defiance over surrender. Pretty words, Thexval said. Let us see how pretty they sound when you are screaming. That night, as the prison ship flew through space toward the Valthek fortress world, Mina heard something she had not expected. The other prisoners were whispering Choi Hwan's final words. The alien species that had been broken by the Valthek were repeating the human boy's defiant message. My soul is carbon, she heard a Zalani prisoner whisper. It will outlive your empire, another voice added. For the first time since their capture, Captain Lee Mina smiled. The Valthek thought they were breaking her crew. Instead, her crew was planting seeds of rebellion throughout their empire. Choi Huan's death had not been meaningless. His words were already spreading. And words, Mina knew, could be more dangerous than any weapon. The fortress world of Kethmore was a nightmare of gray stone and black metal. Captain Lee Mina stood in chains on the landing platform and watched as thousands of alien prisoners worked in the distance. They carried heavy rocks and dug deep holes. Valthic guards with energy whips stood over them. "Welcome to your new home," Supreme Commander Thexaval said. He walked beside Mina as the guards pushed her forward. "This is where stubborn prisoners learn to obey." The prison was built into a mountain. Dark tunnels led deep underground. The air smelled of sweat and fear. Alien prisoners from dozens of species shuffled past in chains. None of them looked up. They had been broken. "You will work in the mineral extraction pits," Thexval explained. 12 hours a day, no rest, no mercy. And every day I will ask you the same question. Where is Earth? And every day I will give you the same answer. Mina replied. No. Thexval stopped walking. He grabbed Mina's chin and forced her to look at him. "We shall see how long your defiance lasts." They put her in a cell deep underground. The walls were rough stone. Water dripped from the ceiling. A small alien creature sat in the corner. It had blue skin and large eyes. It looked young. "Are you human?" the creature asked in a quiet voice. "Yes, I am Captain Lee Mina. I am Kith Ara. I was a scholar on my homeworld before the Valthek came. They destroyed our libraries, they killed our teachers, they brought me here 2 years ago. What species are you?" "Zilani. We were proud once. We thought we were too civilized for war. The Valthek taught us differently." Mina sat down on the cold stone floor. "How many of my crew are still alive?" "I have seen 3 others. The one with dark hair works in the deep mines. The woman with the injured face carries water to the workers. The older man sorts stones in the processing center. Kimde, Park Yuna, and 1 other. 9 of her crew were dead." The work began the next morning. Guards dragged Mina from her cell before dawn. They gave her a heavy hammer and pointed to a wall of rock. "Break the stone. Fill the cart. Move fast or feel the whip." The hammer was almost too heavy to lift. Mina's arms shook as she swung it. The rock was hard. Each blow sent pain through her shoulders and back. But she kept working. Around midday, she saw Park Yuna carrying a bucket of water. The young engineer looked thin and tired. Her face was covered with bruises. But when she saw Mina, her eyes lit up. "Captain," she whispered as she gave Mina water to drink. "How are you holding up, Yuna?" "I am still here. I am still human. That is enough." A Valthek guard noticed them talking. His whip cracked across Park Yuna's back. She cried out and fell to her knees. "No talking," the guard shouted. Mina helped Park Yuna stand up. "Stay strong," she whispered. That night, back in her cell, Kethara asked her questions. "What is it like to be human? Why do you not break like the others?" "Being human means different things to different people," Mina said. "For me, it means choosing to do what is right, even when it hurts. It means protecting those who cannot protect themselves. It means never giving up hope. But hope for what? We will never leave this place. We will die here. Maybe. But our deaths can still have meaning. Your people had libraries. Did those books teach you about change?" "Yes. Our scholars studied how small things can become big things, how a single seed can become a forest. That is what we are doing here. We are planting seeds." Kethara looked confused. "I do not understand. Every day we refuse to break. We show other prisoners that it is possible to stay strong. Every day we choose defiance over surrender. We give others permission to do the same. The Valthek think they are destroying us. Instead, they are creating something dangerous." "What?" "Rebellion." Over the following weeks, Mina watched the other prisoners carefully. She noticed that some of them stood a little straighter when they saw her. She heard whispers in the tunnels. Choi Huan's final words were spreading from species to species. "The Gyo Valthek noticed too. They increased the beatings, they reduced the food rations, they worked the prisoners harder. But it was too late. The spark had been lit. One morning, Thexval came to the mines personally. He brought 10 guards with him. "There has been sabotage in the processing center," he announced. "Someone has been breaking the machinery. Someone has been teaching others to resist." He walked through the crowd of prisoners until he found Mina. "I know this is your doing, human. I have been breaking rocks all day, every day," Mina said. "Ask your guards. Not with your hands, with your words, with your example." Thexval turned to address all the prisoners. "This human thinks she is special. She thinks her defiance makes her strong. Today she will learn otherwise." He nodded to his guards. They grabbed Mina and dragged her to the center of the work area. All the prisoners were forced to watch. "I am moving you to the gladiator pits," Thexval told Mina. "You will fight other prisoners for the entertainment of my officers. You will kill or be killed. Let us see how long your noble words last when you are covered in blood." The gladiator pits were above ground. They were large circular arenas surrounded by stone seats. Valthek officers came to watch the fights and place bets. It was their favorite entertainment. They gave Mina a small knife and pushed her into the arena. Across from her stood a massive Korath warrior. He was twice her size and covered with scars. In his hand was a heavy club. "Kill the human!" the Valthek officers shouted from their seats. "Make it quick." But as Mina walked to the center of the arena, she did something unexpected. She began to speak. Her voice carried across the stone walls. "I am Captain Lee Mina of Earth. My crew died for the freedom of our species. Their names were Kim Dae, Park Yuna, Choi Hwan, and 8 others who gave their lives so that humanity might live." The Korath warrior stopped walking. He stared at her. "I am human," Mina continued. "My soul is carbon forged in the hearts of stars. It will outlive this empire. It will outlive all who would make slaves of free beings." In the prisoner sections, alien voices began to repeat her words. First a few, then dozens, then hundreds. "My soul is carbon," they chanted. "It will outlive this empire." Supreme Commander Thexval stood up in his seat. His face was purple with rage. "Silence them," he shouted to his guards. But it was too late. The chant had begun, and once begun, it could not be stopped. The Korath warrior threw down his club. He looked at Mina and spoke in broken common language. "I will not kill the one who reminds us we are still alive inside." The crowd of prisoners cheered. For the first time in years, they had something to cheer about. Mina smiled. The spark had become a flame. News of the Gladiator Rebellion spread beyond Kethmore like fire through dry grass. On 17 different worlds, alien prisoners began to whisper about the human captain who would not break. They spoke of her words in hidden corners and dark cells. Captain Lee Mina had been moved to a special prison deep underground. Her cell was smaller now. The walls were thicker, but her voice had already done its work. The seed of rebellion was growing. Supreme Commander Thexval stood in his command center and watched reports flood in from across the Empire. Mining operations had stopped on 3 worlds. Prisoners on 5 more planets had refused to work. The conquered Zelani had started teaching their children to read again, using words carved into stone walls. "How did this happen?" he demanded, from his officers. "She is one small human in one small cell. How can she cause so much trouble?" "The other species are calling her the Unbroken One," reported Commander Vextal. "They say her soul cannot be destroyed." "Nonsense. Every soul can be broken. I have broken thousands." "Perhaps, Supreme Commander, but her words have given the prisoners something they had lost." "What?" "Hope." Thexval slammed his fist on the command table. "Then I will take that hope away. Bring the human to me. Today, I will break her in front of the entire galaxy." Meanwhile, in her cell, Mina could hear the sounds of change. Guards ran through the corridors more often. Their voices were worried. Somewhere in the distance, she could hear prisoners singing old songs from their homeworlds. Songs that had been forbidden for years. Cathara was brought to her cell that afternoon. The young Zelani's blue skin was covered with whip marks, but her large eyes were bright with excitement. "Captain Mina," she whispered. "The uprising has begun." "What uprising?" "The one you taught me to plan. We used the signals you showed me. The hiding places you described. 300 prisoners escaped from the South Compound yesterday." Mina felt her heart race. "How many were caught?" "Half. But the others reached the mountains. They are free. And the ones who were caught." Kethara's face fell. "Executed, all of them, including Jorik the Korath who refused to fight you." Mina closed her eyes. More deaths on her conscience. More friends lost to this war. "I am sorry, Cathara. This is my fault." "No," the young alien said firmly. "You did not make the Valthek evil. You only reminded us that we do not have to accept evil. The prisoners who died chose their deaths. They chose freedom over slavery, even if freedom only lasted a few hours. What about the ones who escaped? They are spreading your message to other worlds. They carry your words like weapons." That evening, guards came for Mina. But instead of taking her to interrogation, they brought her to a large chamber filled with recording equipment. Cameras pointed at a chair in the center of the room. Bright lights made everything look harsh, and White Supreme Commander Thexaval was waiting for her. He wore his finest uniform, his medals gleamed in the light. "Tonight, human, you will serve your final purpose, which is, you will break. In front of cameras that broadcast to every world in my empire, you will tell them that resistance is hopeless. You will beg for mercy, and then you will die. I will do none of those things. Oh, but you will, because if you do not, I will destroy something precious to you." A large screen came to life behind him. It showed space above the planet. In the darkness, a ship was floating helplessly. It was not a Valthek ship. It was smaller and different in design. A Zelani colony ship, Thexval explained. 5,000 civilians fleeing from their conquered homeworld. Men, women, children, all innocent, all hoping to find a new life somewhere far from my empire. Mina stared at the screen. She could see the ship was damaged. Its engines were dark. It was trapped. "Here is your choice, human. Tell my viewers that resistance is pointless. Reveal the location of Earth. Beg for the mercy of the Valthek Empire. Do this, and I will let the colony ship go. Refuse, and I will destroy it while you watch. You would murder 5,000 innocent people. I have murdered millions of innocent people. 5,000 more means nothing to me. But it means something to you, does it not? That is your weakness. You care about others more than yourself." Mina looked at the screen again. Somewhere on that ship were families, children who had never done anything wrong, people who just wanted to live in peace. "You have 1 minute to decide," Thexval said. The cameras began recording. Red lights showed they were broadcasting live across the empire. On dozens of worlds, prisoners and slaves and conquered peoples were watching. Mina thought about her crew. Kim Day had died rather than reveal military secrets. Park Yuna had given false information even under torture. Young Choi Hwan had spoken, words of defiance as he died. They had trusted her to make the right choice. All of humanity was counting on her to protect Earth's location. But 5,000 innocent Zelani were about to die because of her. "Time is up," Thexval said. "What is your answer?" Mina stepped toward the cameras. She looked directly into the lens. Across the galaxy, beings who had lost hope were watching her. "I am Captain Lee Mina of Earth," she said in a clear, strong voice. "For months, the Valthek have tortured me and my crew. They have killed my friends. They have tried to break my spirit." Thexaval smiled. He thought she was about to surrender. "But I have something to tell you," Mina continued. "I have something to tell every being who hears these words. Every Zelani, every Korath, every species that has been conquered and enslaved." Her voice grew stronger. "You are not broken. You are not defeated. You are not alone." Thexval's smile disappeared. "Stop her," he shouted to his guards. But Mina kept talking. I am human. We are a young species. We have only just learned to travel between the stars. But we know something the Valthek have forgotten. We know that freedom is worth any price. We know that some things are more important than life itself. The guards moved toward her, but she spoke faster. The Valthek think they have conquered you. They are wrong. A body can be chained, but a soul cannot be broken. A homeworld can be destroyed, but a people's spirit lives forever. My soul is carbon forged in the hearts of dying stars. It will outlive this empire. It will outlive every tyrant who thinks might makes right. And your souls are the same. You are unbreakable if you choose to be. Thexval drew his weapon and pointed it at Mina. Any last words, human? Yes, Mina said, still looking at the cameras. To every being watching this across the galaxy, rise up, fight back, be free. The weapon fired. Captain Lee Mina fell to the floor, but her words had already traveled across space at the speed of light. They reached every world in the Empire. They entered every prison and every slave camp, and in those dark places something wonderful happened. Beings who had forgotten how to hope remembered. Slaves who had accepted their fate chose rebellion. An empire built on fear began to crack. Supreme, Commander Thexval had won the battle, but he had lost the war. 3 years after Captain Lee Mina died on Kethmore, the Valthek Empire was falling apart. Rebellions burned across 40 star systems. The conquered species had learned to fight again. They remembered what freedom felt like. Captain Shin Jae-woo stood on the bridge of the ESS Retribution and watched the fleet assemble around him. 50 Earthships had crossed the galaxy to answer Mina's final message. Humanity had heard her broadcast. They had built these ships to honor her sacrifice. Captain, we are receiving a transmission from the surface, said his communications officer. It is from the Free Coalition. Put it through. The main screen showed a blue-skinned Zalani female. She was older now, but Jae-woo recognized her from the intelligence reports. This was Keth Ara, the scholar who had become a rebel leader. Captain Jae-woo, she said, welcome to Kethmore. We have been waiting for you. The wait is over, Jae-woo replied. How is the situation on the surface? The Valthek strongholds are surrounded. Their forces are cut off. But they still hold the main prison complex where Captain Mina died. We will take it. There is something you should see first. Something your captain would have wanted you to know. An hour later, Jae-woo stood in the ruins of the gladiator arena. The stone seats were empty now. Scorch marks from the fighting covered the walls. But in the center of the arena, something beautiful had been built. It was a monument made of pure carbon crystal. The black stone rose from the ground like a flame frozen in time. Words were carved into its surface in dozens of languages. Human words, Zalani words, Korath words, and many others. We built this from carbon taken from our homeworlds, Kethara explained. Every species that heard Captain Mina's message contributed. It represents her soul, forged from the hearts of stars. Jae-woo read the words carved in Korean. My soul is carbon. It will outlive your empire. She was right, Kethara said. The empire is dying. But her soul lives on in every act of rebellion, every choice to fight back, every moment. When someone chooses freedom over slavery. Tell me about the uprising, Jae-woo said. It started the night she died. Her broadcast reached every world simultaneously. Prisoners on 17 planets rose up at the same moment. They called it the Night of Broken Chains. They walked through the ruined prison complex. Kethara pointed out the places where Captain Mina had been held. The cells were empty now, their doors torn from their hinges. The Valthek tried to stop the rebellions, she continued. They sent their fleets to crush each uprising. But while they were fighting on one world, 3 more would rise up. They did not have enough ships to fight everywhere at once. What happened to Supreme Commander Thexval? He retreated to his fortress on Kethmore. He has been trapped there for 6 months. The Free Peoples have him surrounded. He cannot escape, but he will not surrender. Then we will finish this. The battle for Thexval's fortress was short but fierce. The Valthek fought with desperate fury. They knew this was their last stand. but they were outnumbered and outgunned. The Free Coalition had learned to fight as one people instead of separate species. Jae-woo found Thexval in his command center. The Supreme Commander was alone. His officers dead or fled. He sat in his chair, staring at screens that showed the collapse of his empire. "I do not understand," Thexval said without looking up. "I broke her. I killed her. How did she defeat me?" "She did not defeat you by fighting," Jae-woo replied. "She defeated you by showing others what was possible. She proved that some things cannot be broken. But she died. I watched her die. Her body died. Her soul lives on. It lives in every person who chooses to be free. It lives in every act of courage and defiance. It lives in the knowledge that no empire lasts forever, but freedom is eternal." Thexval looked at him for the first time. "What will you do with me?" "That is not my decision to make. The Free Coalition will decide your fate." "And what is this? Free Coalition?" "The future. All the species you conquered working together as equals, building something better than your empire ever was." 2 months later, Jae-woo stood before the newly formed Free Coalition Council. Representatives from 63 species sat in a great hall on the liberated world of New Zealand. They had come together to write the laws that would govern their alliance. "We propose the Mina Doctrine," said Elder Kethara, now the elected leader of the Zalani people. "Named for the human captain who reminded us of our own strength." "What does it say?" asked a Korath delegate. "It is simple. No being shall break the spirit of another. No species shall be conquered or enslaved. No empire shall rise by crushing the freedom of others." The vote was unanimous. Later, Jae-woo visited the monument one last time before returning to Earth. The carbon crystal gleamed in the light of Kethmore's twin suns. Fresh flowers had been placed at its base. People from many worlds came here to remember. "She would be proud," Kethara said. Joining him, she knew this would happen. Even at the end, she believed her sacrifice would matter. It did matter. The galaxy is free because of her. Not just because of her. Because of everyone who chose to follow her example. Because of everyone who refused to give up hope. Jae-woo looked up at the stars. Somewhere among them was Earth, humanity's homeworld. Mina had died to protect it. Now Earth was safe, and humanity had taken its place among the stars as a free people. "What will you do now?" Kethara asked. "Return home. Help rebuild. The galaxy is free, but freedom requires constant vigilance. There will always be new tyrants who think they can build empires on the backs of others. And when they come, we will remember Captain Lee Mina. We will remember that some things cannot be broken, and we will choose to be free." Years passed. The Free Coalition grew stronger. New species joined their alliance. The galaxy became a place where different peoples could live together in peace. But in the quiet moments, when the stars were bright and the universe felt vast, people would remember the human captain who had changed everything. They would tell stories of her courage to their children. They would speak her name with reverence and gratitude. Captain Lee Mina was gone, but her legacy lived on, in every act of kindness between species, in every law that protected the weak, in every moment when someone chose to do what was right instead of what was easy. Her body had been made of flesh and bone, temporary and fragile, but her soul was carbon, forged in the nuclear fires of dying stars. It was eternal, it was unbreakable, and it would outlive every empire that ever was or ever would be. The galaxy was free, and it would remain free as long as beings remembered the lesson of the human captain who would not break. Some things, she had taught them, are more important than life itself. Freedom is one of them. The end.